My man Czar make tracks like this.
Alright, y'all, what's up? We're here on Thronholder Podcast. It's episode 2. We got a special guest tonight. I got my man, the exec, in the building.
What up, what up?
And this show, we'll talk about, I'm going to give my review of the Dangerous D-Box. We're going to talk about the updates to Reason and Record. And we're going to talk a little bit about the Black Line Audio new EQ that they just released. But I'll start this off. It's talking about, if you remember my first show, I had a little bit of a rant on SSL because they're taking too long to send me my Duende Mini. I can't say I got it now. Came pretty much fully loaded. I got all the plugins except for the reverb and the 128 channel upgrade. But I'd say so far they've been okay. Nothing great. Can say they successfully crashed my Pro Tools more than a few times so far. So it's something they may have to work out. Just a lot of little annoying things about it too. Plugins you can control click and they'll go back to 0. There's none of that with the Duende Mini plugins. You've got to turn your dials back to 0. Let's see what else. Oh, there's no presets. I'm a fan of presets. I like to use presets to start from places. It's none of that on the SSL Duende Mini plugin. So it's, I don't know. I mean, between 1 and a 5, I'd have to give it a 3 right now. I'm gonna give it some more use and see how I like it. Another weird thing, I was automating some of the plugins, and I was automating the input gain to the channel, and in the automation, instead of it giving me dB, it gave me percentage, which is really weird if you're trying to automate volume. I moved it up like 20% and went back to the plugin, and it was like 9 dB, something crazy like that. So, but I really wanted some SSL gear, so I mean, hopefully in the long run I like it. But if not, you know the deal, eBay or Craigslist. We're going to get into this Reason and Record. You haven't heard, they've updated to, or are about to update to Reason 5 and Record 1.5.
Can't wait.
And so, how long, exec, how long you been using Reason?
Since about this time, 2004.
Oh, okay, that's what, 6 years? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Which, so what, did you start on like Reason 3?
2.5.
2.5. Woo. You got in about when they first started.
Yeah, I've been in there for a minute.
It's about how often, because I haven't been following Reason like that, how often would you say they've been updating? I mean, has it been a yearly thing or?
No, it's definitely not yearly. I guess I'd say like, I want to say like 18 months.
18 months. It was weird about updating software. It's like, if you're into tech and gadgets, you know how stuff leaks all the time.
Yeah.
You never hear rumors or leaks that, oh, Reason 5 is coming this month, or, it's, you just, bam, here it is. I remember when Logic 9 was announced, I got up and I was just browsing the internet, and there it is, Logic 9 released today, and I'm like, wow, no leaks or rumors that it was coming soon or they were working on it. You just wake up one day and there's a new version to the software.
Yeah, that's how it was for me. I went on the Crate Kings blog, and they had a post that had like the first video, because I think when this year, whatever, they must have made a lot of changes, so every day of whatever week it was, they showed a new feature that they were updating. And then so on Crate Kings, they just had whatever it was for that Monday. And then so, of course, I was on the website every morning the rest of that week trying to see what else they was bringing to the table.
Yeah, Reason's been really popular, and then they came with Record last year, which was it's an interesting move to me, just because it's, you've got you got so many DAWs out now, and even Harrison that makes who makes big studio consoles. And matter of fact, they're based right out of here in Nashville, but they came out with a DAW, and I'm just like, really? I mean, it's almost like a Kai making those monitors to me, and I'm like, really? You're gonna make monitors? And it's to me, it's just so many names in that market already. People taking the top names in that market. It's gonna be hard to get in there with your monitors when you're known for making drum machines and samplers. But I mean, I think the record. I mean, it was a risky move to me, but I think if you're a fan of Reason or a fanboy of Reason, I mean, you pretty much got to dig record. You've got to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was that risky of a move because a lot of people like. I guess I feel that like Reason it's because of the workflow, and then I felt like I feel like Propellerhead was like, all right, if we can figure out a way to put this workflow with live audio, then we'll have a good product. And then they did that, plus they also made it, fully incorporated with Reason, so it's like one big giant studio inside your computer.
And I feel like Propellerhead and Reason has been how do I put it? They've been careful not to. They don't want to be associated with Logic and other production softwares because it's not. Reason's not a DAW, and it's mainly for production and programming. So yeah, I think it's a good move for them to go together. And I mean, I think the biggest fans of Record outside of Reason users would be people who don't want to get into Pro Tools or don't want to get into Logic. And I just feel like Record has to be something that's something so easy a caveman can use it. It's just got to be dumbed down, easy to use. And I downloaded. I was in the beta testing for it, but man, I never even got around to opening it up. I mean, I do know Record as the SSL mixer. It's laid out like an SSL. If you go back to, like I said, it being user-friendly, SSL is not a very user-friendly board to use just because, I don't know, man, it seem they got weird names for stuff and weird things in places, similar to Pro Tools to me. I mean, Pro Tools has weird settings in weird places.
Yeah.
For who knows what reason, just because they can. I mean, you get number one at something, I should feel like you can do what you want. And I mean, SSL is world famous for their consoles, so they figure, yeah, we can call this knob whatever we want to call it.
True that.
Let's get to these features, these new features coming to Reason. You got the updated the Dr. Rex or
the Octorex, baby.
Excuse me, the Dr. Octorex, as they're calling it now. It's Neptune, Kong, the drum sampler, and we got live input sampling now, so you can record audio right in the Reason.
Yep.
So which one of those are you most excited about?
Honestly, every day of the week I got more and more excited. The only thing that I really didn't care about was it's this thing they have called blocks, which is like a new way of managing your sessions or whatever, which I guess once I start using it, I may get used to it, but that was like the most underwhelming. But like when I first peeped the Octorex, I was like damn near doing backflips. And then the way they demoed the Neptune was pretty ill too, because they had like the person singing and they played the keys over it because it's a harmonizer. It's a pitch corrector and a harmonizer. So once you does the pitch correction on the fly, and then once you have the vocal in there, you can play keys along with whatever the vocal's doing, and it'll harmonize it for you. And then the Kong, it's just making drums, and that's what I spent a lot of time doing. Like I made a beat. Was it like on the 28th of May? I think it was, because I don't name my beats anymore. I just give them dates. But like, it took me about 3 hours to get the drums right. But then all I did was I put two organ chords, and a bass line. That was the whole beat. And the drum was wicked, but the drums took way too long to make.
Man, Yeah, that Neptune looks interesting, especially if it's as user friendly as they kind of show it off to be. Because when it came down to me getting my pitch correction software, I went with Melodyne over Auto-Tune. I like the way the Melodyne's interface has where you can kind of see what you're doing. With Auto-Tune, you can really do that.
Yeah,
And
I
then,
was thinking about that when I was watching the video for it because I feel like they I don't know if they copied it, but the workflow within Neptune once you have a vocal in there is very similar to Melodyne, to where
if
you can
they,
just take the chunks and drag them up and down and it does what it does.
yeah, that's like it's like you can't do that with Auto-Tune. And I first saw Auto-Tune and I I can't remember which one I saw first, but I mean, even just going off the UI, I was like, yeah, I would go with Melodyne. And then Melodyne announced that the DNA
Yeah,
where it can pull apart, like it's just impossibly what's the amazing? Let's say
basically.
like 10 times amazing to be able to do that. Uh, yeah, Neptune is as user friendly as they show it in there. I can see that being a really good plus for record. And another thing for record, if it's an easy way for them to export your stuff from export your sessions from record, so you can bring it to say a Pro Tools or Logic.
Yeah, I was looking that up just the other day too, because like I didn't get record before, but like when I saw the Neptune, I felt like if I don't get it, that would be a problem. But it can be a rewire slave.
Hmm.
So if you load up your Pro Tools and then load up record, you can go ahead and just track everything into Pro Tools if necessary to get like a final polished mix on it or whatever. But like even that Neptune, most people will probably use it for vocals, but like I told you before, I don't use anything in the way that it's intended. And like maybe 30 seconds after the video cut off, or maybe really even in the middle of the video, really, I was like, imagine what you could do with a sample. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if you get a clean sample that's like a guitar or something, and if it's, let's say your vinyl is a little warped or something, so some of the pitch is off, it's going to pitch correct that once you put it in there. Plus, when you play the keys over it, it's going to automatically harmonize the sample that you have in there. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. And then even if it's like a sample that has like a bunch of different instruments going on, I don't know if it'll like perfectly harmonize it or if it'll just give you some really interesting stuff. You know what I mean? There's like a lot of stuff you could do that is just, I'm excited.
Yeah, that's what you call thinking outside the box. That's
My man's